Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Actually, for this session, there will be 10 presenters, but here there are still 5. So, can we just start? And then, yeah, probably the other 5 will join up while we are already starting it. Is it okay? Kita mulai saja ya.
Ya.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. First of all, let us thanks to Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing, we are able to come to here to join this seminar. Secondly, salawat and salam also delivered to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness into the brightness. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am Khairun Nisa, or just call me Nisa. I'm the moderator of today's seminar. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this second ICOPE, International Conference of Education, Progressive Education 2020. This seminar is conducted by University of Lampung, and for the session that we have, the parallel session that we have for the first session, it is 10 parallel sessions. And then for this one, this is for room 7. But before we continue to the presentation, I'm going to give you to tell you first what the agenda that we will have today. The first one is opening, and then the second one is introduction, or the instruction that you can the procedure of this session. And then the third one is presentation time. After that, there will be open question and answer session, and then the last one is closing. So before we continue, better for us to open this parallel session by saying Basmalah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay, the next one, the procedure. I'm going to tell you first the procedure that you will have for this presentation, the parallel session. So, okay, wait. Yeah, so the presentation will be in parallel session. There are 10 presenters actually for each session. And for each presenter, you have 10 minutes to present your material. And then after that, after all of you already presented your paper, there will be question and answer session. And we will give 3 questions maximum from the participants who wants to ask the question to the presenter. Okay. Is that clear for the procedure?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So now we can continue to the presentation. And yeah, if there are any changing information, like I have one of you who changed the presenter, so let the committee knows about that, okay? So you can confirm it first. Okay, we go to the first presenter, Rahmat Budi Santoso. Is there any Rahmat here? Rahmat Budi Santoso? Okay, we can skip it first. Yeah. So now I'm going to call the other one. The next one is Dedi Aris Julianto. For this time, it will be presented by Safrina Oxidriani, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so for Safrina, with the title Impact of Social Media Usage on Premarital Sexual Behavior Among Vocational High School Students in West Lombok Regency. Okay, so time is yours.
May I share screen now?
Yeah, sure. You
Okay.
can use
Thank you.
share screen. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you for time and opportunity. My name is Safrina Oxitriani. I will present the result of research titled "Impact of Social Media Usage on Premarital Sexual Behavior Among Vocational High School Students in West Lombok Regency." This is the outline of this presentation, include introduction, methods, result, and conclusion. Okay, with the quite large proportion of adolescents, about 1/5 of total population in the world, adolescent sexual health and problem need extension attention. So adolescent sexual health problem considered as one of the global public health priorities. As Indonesian Demographic and Health Survey reported that 50% of adolescents in Indonesia have having first sexual behavior at age 17. At as among adolescents, social media usage is important, and UpG survey reported that 75% of internet users are adolescents. Adolescents generally use social media to access information like education and entertain or communicate. So research is the aim of this research is to investigate the relationship between social media usage like duration, intensity, and content on premarital sexual behavior in Lombok. Why Lombok? Because Lombok have quite high prevalent at early marriage and number of student dropout student because of pregnancy. So this was a cross-sectional study conducted in July 2018 among vocational high school students in West Lombok Regency. The inclusion criteria are men or non-pregnant women aged 15 until 18 and willing to participate by filling and signing the informed consent. We use a 4 questionnaire that adapted from before previous research. We conducted a pilot study to know the reliability of those survey, and those pilot study showed a coefficient above 0.7 that showed that the survey is reliable in this study. After data collection, we analyzed the data with 3 steps of analysis. First, descriptive, and then chi-square, and then multiple logistic regression to find the confounding relationship like age, peer influence, self-efficacy, and sex chatting behavior on premarital sexual behavior in adolescents. This is the result of the univariate analysis. Most of this sample is women, age 15, Muslim, and have low social economic status. And 18% of them are having phone and have ever accessed internet. About 100% of them have a sexual behavior, and 45 have risky sexual behavior. And 15.5% of them have low social efficacy and high peer influence. This is the result of social media usage. Most of them have high duration and high intensity on social media usage, and about 16% of them access social media for information. But in this study, we don't distinguish the information, what kind of information they access, whether it is about sexual education or not. But based on chi-square analysis, social media usage have a significant effect on premarital sexual behavior. But after we conducted multiple logistic regression, the most significant predictor are only intensity of social media education, social media usage, self-efficacy, and sex chatting. So, based on that result, we have three recommendations. Because of most of the adolescents access social media for information, we need to provide medically accurate and relevant sexual education and integrate that education into social media. And then government need to control and tighten pornographic content to prevent adolescents from false information. So this is the end of this presentation. Thank you for your attention. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. Thank you for your nice presentation, and it's really informative presentation. So, yeah, before we continue the presentation, I'm going to remind you first that in this presentation session, I hope that you can turn on your camera so the presenter can see all the participants in this session. Okay. Probably, Sofian Hakim, could you please turn on your camera first before we continue?
Ya, sebentar ada
Alright.
terkendala soalnya laptopnya tidak ada webcamnya, mau beralih ke tab dulu.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, if you already done with that, you can use your camera. All right. Now we
Miss Nisa,
Yeah,
Miss Nisa, I wanna ask, is it room 7?
yeah, sure. This is room 7.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, anytime. Now we will continue to the next presenter, Camelia Lia. Camelia, is there any here?
Miss Nisa,
Yeah.
Camelia is my friend.
Oh, so you.
Camelia, yeah, no, Camelia wanna come after there is something to do.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, maybe
So,
next, Miss Nisa. Thank you.
okay. So I skip it first. The next one is okay. But before that, probably you can turn on your camera, but still unmute your audio. Sorry. Okay. Next, Shahrul Razi. Shahrul. Shahrul Razi, time for you to present. I think he is here already. Shahrul. Shahrul, are you here? Okay. Yeah, maybe we can go to the other one. I found the name here, but there's no reply from Shahrul. Maybe we can go back to Shahrul after the other one first. But before that, Sofian, I'm sorry, can you unmute your voice first?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now the next is Sylvie Arianti.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, so Sylvie is here already.
Videoin aku.
Okay, so Sylvie, your title is learning of speak. Learning of
Sepak
speak.
sila.
Oh, sepak,
Sepak
sorry.
sila.
Learning
Sepak
of
sila.
sepak sila technique best video for sepak takraw course. Is it?
Yes.
All right. So, Sylvie, time is yours to present your material, your paper.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nisa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
My name is Sylvie Arianti. I'm Jaya, Physical Education and Health. Now I want a presentation about my paper with the title is Learning of Sepak Sila Techniques, this video for Sepak Takraw course. Introduction. Lecture material in the Physical Education Study Program of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education Universitas Sriwijaya, namely the basic skills of sepak takraw with a weight of 2 credits. Based on observation in the field, the second semester student on physical education have difficulty understanding and practicing the material about basic techniques of sepak sila in the sepak takraw course. So, choosing the right learning model for student is believed to able to help convey message correctly, effectively, efficiently, can create and enrich learning experience. Be able to present a picture of an event as close or real as possible, and be able to increase student activity and skills. So the learning objective can be achieved properly. The use of video-based sepak sila learning models for physical education students is needed. This aims to achieve learning objective. Based on the problem that the excite is in the field, the researchers are interested in conducting research on the sepak sila techniques learning model based on the video course of Faculty for Physical Education Training. Okay, is a research development. I have adapt into the following development procedure. Until expert have my students only take a material via daring. So I just until expert validation. The first information gathering in the field. At this stage, first a literature review and field study are carried out. B, analyzes the information that has been collected. C, early product development, draft model. The third stage is making of the initial draft. Initial draft in my research is a video based basic techniques of learning model. And then D, expert validation. I use sepak takraw learning expert and media expert. The validation process can get input on the initial product. This is product research. My product research is a video for the basic sepak sila. Okay, you can see I use eight model. It's model. Okay, result research based on the result media expert. I get a percentage of 73.2 So it was stated that according to the media expert, the category was quite feasible. And then I get a result of sepak takraw expert validation, percentage of 71.4. So that it can be started that according to sepak takraw expert, the video-based soccer learning model is the quite feasible category. And then I get the average percentage result of the assessment. Based on the result, I get 72.3. So the research product in the form of the video-based sepak sila learning model is quite feasible to be used in learning sepak takraw. Okay, discussion. I get relevant research. It can be concluded that the right learning model can have a positive impact on students in learning. With the learning model using video can provide student learning motivation and improve learning outcomes. Acknowledgement. Thank you for the rector of Sriwijaya University who has provided funding for research in science, technology, and art, science, and all those who have helped it. Thank you very much, moderator.
All
I
right,
think
thank
enough.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Sylvie. That is a nice presentation. And yeah, for everyone who has a question, you can give it first. Then we will have the session for question and answer after all the presenters. Now we go to the next presentation. Amelia Hanisa Putri. Is there any Amelia? Amelia Hanisa Putri?
Belum ada kalau dari partisipan, Mbak.
Oh yeah, okay, so we skip for this presenter first. Now the next one, Eka Sofia Agustina. There is Eka Sofian here.
Ya, saya hadir, Bu Nisa, tetapi saya minta yang terakhir bisa?
Oh iya, Ibu.
Terima kasih, Bu Nisa.
Oke, Bu, we skip it first.
Sofia
Okay.
dulu boleh, Mbak. Tadi
Oh.
kameranya belum on, sekarang udah.
Nah, ini Pak Sofyan.
Oh,
Ya.
Pak Sofian
Ada
apa?
dua login, satu pakai laptop tidak ada webcam, satunya menggunakan tablet. Karena nanti share-nya pakai laptop.
Oh iya, Pak. Mohon maaf sebelumnya, Pak. Saya make sure dulu. Pak Sofian, apakah yang Syahrul Razini? Bukan?
Sofian Hakim.
Sofian Hakim.
Room 7.
I haven't got your name. Sofian Hakim. Title? Your title?
The effect of academic supervision in improving teacher performance.
Okay. But you have made sure that you are in room 7?
Yes.
Okay. Ya.
Mohon izin, Mbak.
Oke. Ya.
Ini ada nama Pak Sofian Hakim, tapi di sesi kedua yang jam 1.
Oke,
Oh,
let me check
gitu.
it.
Ya, ini berdasarkan jadwal yang di-share di grup. Ada memang benar ruang ke-7, tapi beliau di sesi jam 1.
Jadi tidak bisa ikut di sesi pagi ya?
I'm afraid you can. But okay, saya tanya dulu sama panitia sebentar ya. Ya, soalnya yang saya pegang ini room 7 untuk pagi dan room 2 untuk siang. Jadi, kemungkinan room 7 nanti siang itu bukan sama saya, seperti itu, Pak. Takutnya.
gitu.
Tapi kalau misalkan, oke. Nanti siang Bapak bisa hadir atau berhalangan?
Sebenarnya kalau bisa pagi, ya pagi. Tapi kalau enggak, ya udah siang nggak apa-apa gitu.
Ya.
Oke, jadi mungkin siang aja ya.
Oh gitu ya. Iya. Takutnya nanti tumpang tindih informasinya sih, Pak.
Oke. Oke, terima kasih, Mbak.
Iya, sama-sama, Pak. Tapi nggak apa-apa,
Izin lah
still
ya.
enjoy the parallel session.
Oh gitu, nggak apa-apa.
It's okay for you to be here. Okay. Now we go to the next presenter, Rahmanul Cahyani. Rahmanul Cahyani?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
ma'am.
here.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Let me share the PPT.
Yeah, you can use share screen. Okay, Rahmanul Cahyani will title The Effect of Task Complexity in English Utterances produced by Indonesian EFL.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so time is yours.
Thank you. Okay, good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Honorable Ms. Khairunisa, MPD, as moderator, and thanks in advance for giving me the opportunity to deliver my presentation entitled The Effect of Task Complexity in English Utterance produced by Indonesian EFL learners. So we'll move to the background of problem. In the background of problem, we will see that students have difficulty to be master in English, especially in speaking English. Therefore, by 2016, due that TBLT, task-based language teaching, can provide some activities by engaging students to communicate in the target language. And also, Lin 2009 stated that TBLT is related to pedagogical tasks, which reflects on real-world tasks, which is associated to the people's life, daily life. For instance, student experience, student daily activities, and etc. Therefore, Robinson contribute three aspects, three components, which consist of task complexity, task condition, task difficulty. Robinson believed these components can fulfill real-world tasks and also influence student linguistics, but only task complexity can be predicted and also manipulated in order to increase student utterance. So we move to the task complexity. And the task complexity divided into two, namely resources directing, focus on guiding student in the linguistic, and then the second one is the resources dispersing, which is it's not directing to facilitating student, it's not directing to focus on linguistic, but it tended to facilitating the student to accomplish or complete the task. Based on the task complexity, many researchers have intended to manipulate by increasing complexity along resources directing in complex tasks, and also simpler along resources that dispersing simultaneously, because this aspect can be expected to provide a positive impact, especially for student oral performance or student learners utterance. Therefore, in this occasion, the researchers tried to combine two dimensions and manipulating resources dispersing in the complex tasks and simpler along resources directing in the simple task in order to attain student goals, which is increasing their speaking skill. So based on the gap, the researchers formulated the research question. The first research question, what are the effects of task complexity manipulated along with the researchers dispersing and researchers directing in simple tasks on student utterance in terms of complexity, accuracy, and fluency. In this second research question, is there any relationship between student perception of the task complexity and student utterance based on the CAP? So we move on into methodology. For collecting the data, it had been adjusted by research question. The first research question, the researchers provide 3 of monologue tasks that have been manipulated before, and then record student utterance by using WhatsApp audio because this research had been conducted during COVID-19. And then also the second research question, providing student a perception questionnaire after doing the task, and then the research question, no, I'm sorry, after the student perception questionnaire based on Robinson theory, namely motivation, stress, interest, confidence, and we move to the data analysis. In the data analysis, the researcher calculate the student utterance in terms of CAF, complexity, accuracy, and fluency. Complexity divided into two. Complexity, the first is syntax, that is calculating the number of clauses per number as unit in syntax. And the second one, in lexical, the researchers calculate the percentage of lexical words. And then accuracy. In the accuracy, the researchers try to find out student error-free as unit. And then the last one, in fluency, the researcher only focus on student English speech or speech rate B. And then the last is analyze the data of questionnaire student perception by using coefficient correlation. So for result and discussion, here we will see the table of the student utterance after doing the 3 of types of tasks. And then here the explanation for the first task, student gain the negative impact on lexical complexity due to they have limited time to prepare. And then the second one, they have lack of background knowledge. Most of them most of them cannot explain how to explain the procedure with breath properly. And then the last one is dual task. They were under pressure where they were demanded to focus on 2 activities. They have to listen the audio recording in order to answer a few questions, and they have to speaking the content of task. And task 2, the result did not influence student utterance in terms of complexity, even though the highest result of task 2 in student fluency. And then task 3, there was a positive effect on student utterance in terms of lexical complexity and accuracy. And task 3, this situation might be happened due to there is a familiarity of tasks between task 1 and task 2, which is related about the instruction or procedure tasks. This result was in line by Mapul 2040. His participant believed that the tasks that have been completed, they was easy because the task has similarity with the previous tasks. So we will move to the result of the second research question. After doing the task 1, students felt frustrated and low motivation. The result because of they feel that task 1 was difficult to do in the first time, and then the second one, they were not motivated to accomplish dual tasks because they were really confused how to finish the activity at the same time properly. And then the last is monologue tasks. Monologue tasks were more complex than dialogic tasks because they don't have a partner to explain their experience, their what's in their utterance. Yeah. So we move to the task 2. Students who generated less lexical words had been moderately correlated with 2 items of student perception, difficulty and motivation. This result uh, might be happening because like of familiarity with the topic. The task 2 was totally different with task 1 and task 3. So that's why students have some obstacle when they have to produce lexical words properly or in appropriate to the context. And then Bozorgian 2070 also argue about with the result. He found that students made any pauses and very slow in telling the story because of there is an unfamiliarity with the content of the story. So in the task 3, lexical complexity, there is a positive correlation between lexical complexity and student motivation. This happened due to the familiarity of tax in the tax 3 and tax 1, which is gender discourse. We can call it procedure tax. Conversely, even though students can increase their their accuracy, but they will still felt frustrated to complete the task. So this result was in line with the Robinson 2001 argue that complexity and difficulty did not always have fixed relationship to each other. So we move to the conclusion. In the research question, the first two question, task 3, students can improve their utterance in terms of lexical complexity and accuracy due to the familiarity of task. And the second research question, the 30 components, complexity, learner factors, and interactive factors can contribute about student perception after doing the 3 types of monologues. Okay, I think enough about my presentation. I will give back to moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for Ms. Rahman Cahyani. That's such a nice presentation. So now we'll continue to the next presenters. Again, I'm going to remind you that if you have a question, you can keep it first, and then we will have the session for question and answer after the presenters already presented all. The next one is Zhu Sulian. Okay. Am I spelling it correct?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for pronouncing my name correctly.
Okay, anytime. So Zhu, time is yours for presenting your materials, your paper.
Okay. So I'm now sharing screen with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Here is my screen.
Okay, it's already here.
So I guess you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay, so you guys can see my screen?
Yeah, it's already here.
Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, so my topic today is a retrospective review of translation and interpreting research in the 21st century. This is actually a co-presentation of me and my supervisor, Dr. Rahid Ayadust. But I will be the main presenter. He will kick in when necessary. Here is a table of contents. I will follow this order to present my study, from literature to methodology, from data analysis to results, and finally the discussion. As to the literature, I want you to familiar with 3 terms. One is translation and interpreting studies, and second one is scientometric study, and third one is author co-citation analysis, which is short for ACA. Okay. So as to translation and interpreting, I think they are also known as written and spoken translations. They have played essential roles in promoting trade, religion, scholarship exchanges, and we can find the interpreter's role in the history. For example, in Indonesia, we can find a book specifically on the interpreters in history. And on the left, this is the interpreters after the World War II in the Grand Trial, and also in the Chinese history. But when I look back to the history of TIS studies, I mean translation and interpreting studies, the previous TIS reviews focused on page number counting, keyword search, as well as some other similar methods. So as Gio in 2000 pointed out, very few quantitative analyses have been applied to measure this phenomenon. And in recent years, Rovera Estiva also pointed out that statistic methods should be applied in reviewing the study in this knowledge domain. That's why I decided to use scientometrics to trace back to the studies of translation and interpreting studies. What is scientometrics? Let me make a comparison here. If you look at the map of Indonesia, you can see the oceans, you can see the islands, very beautiful islands. That's why I chose this background. I imagine I'm in Lampung, okay. So If you pull the map closer, you can see the roads, bridges, and even buildings. So if you look at the map of our knowledge domain, you also can see the important journals, institutions, and scientific specialties. What I'm trying to do is to draw such a knowledge map of TS studies. So in order to draw such a map, I use author co-citation analysis. What is author co-citation analysis? It's very simple. If you look at the graph here, author B and author C, they don't have any connections with each other on the surface. They don't cite each other, but both of them cited author A. This co-citation network thus formed between B and C. Imagine there are B1, B2, B3, B4, C1, C2, C3, C4. Both of these groups of authors also cite the similar group of authors. They are actually friends. They are actually working on a similar topic. So that would be a subgroup of a knowledge domain. So what scientometrics can do is to find out such subgroups of knowledge domain. Here I form the following 3 questions, research questions. The first one is about the dominant research trends. The second is the most influential authors. And the third one, of course, implications to pedagogical design in translation and interpreting programs. In order to solve the research questions, I have the following data source. The following data source are actually from the 13 core TS journals, including 6,240 journal articles and the references. As you can see, it's a big data mining technology. I try to mine data from such amount of references and journal articles. The data analysis has been done by a very interesting software, which is SiteSpace. Thanks to Dr. Chen Chaomei and his team, I can use this I can use this software to do the data analysis. I don't have to do it manually because it's impossible. I'm basically a math idiot. So, in order to construct the network, which I've mentioned, in order to draw this map, I used such a software, and I also set up some parameters, such as the link retaining factor, as well as the look back years, which can be shown on this screen. And I also set up some other parameters, which is, like I said, which is the time length, the duration of my references. It's from 2000 to 2020, which means it is from the recent 20 years. And also I set up some other parameters about like K number, or actually I set up these different parameters, like I did some combinations across those parameters. I compared the results, and finally, how I chose the right network. I actually compared their density, their modularity Q, and mean sinuate score. I think these terms, if you are interested, you can go to Dr. Chen Chaomei's website. They have been clarified and explained very well. Since I have only 10 minutes, I will go to my own research directly. These are just the terms. It doesn't, it means everything, but it's not that important in my presentation today. So I chose this network, which has the highest modularity Q and the highest mean sinuate score, which actually indicates I have confidence, high confidence in clustering my knowledge domain. And after constructing my map, which I've shown to you, I begin to solve the research questions. The first research question is about the dominant research trends. And I solved this research question through the cluster view. The clusters are just like the friend group, which I've mentioned before. If the authors cite each other or cite the same authors, they form a subgroup of knowledge domain, and the clever software also label them as follows, and they are the dominant research trends in the present research of translation and interpreting. You even don't have to label themselves by your, you don't have to label them by yourself. The computer did it for you. And in order to solve the, by the way, the previous one is the cluster view, and this is the time view. The time view can give us more information. It can show us which clusters evolve, how these clusters evolve through history. For example, the fourth one, number 4, audiovisual translation. And for this audiovisual translation, it was not that prominent at the beginning of 2000, I mean the 21st century, but later on it has been drawing attention from different authors. So we can see this ring is getting bigger and bigger. And if you click on it, you can see which authors are working in this area. And say in around 2010, it has attracted a lot of attention from the authors in translation and interpreting studies. That's why this ring is that big around 2010. Okay, and remember the second important research question? The second research question is about the most influential authors. I also use a function in this software, which is burstness. Thanks to burstness function, I get the important authors in the 21st century. As we can see, some of them are really, I have to say, enjoy a long reputation. For example, this one, Seleskovich, she enjoyed the reputation since 2000 to about like 10 years to 2010. And some of the authors are quite prominent. For example, the strength here refers to the prominence. The second one, Dalisi, he or she enjoyed very high strength according to this burstness map. That means they are very important. If you want to work on or work in this area, try to read their work first, okay? And here is a discussion. What kind of implications can we get to know? And here I would like to draw your attention to the differences between teachers and researchers. What I can bear in my mind is what teachers want to know. I think here are 3 points the teachers want to know. First of all, they want to know the market, because finally, they want to teach students to adapt to the market. So what the market wants, what the teachers want. And second, of course, better pedagogy. They want to implement better pedagogy to produce better students. And third one, sounder assessment. So coincidentally, these 3 areas are exactly the focal areas of the researchers. And the researchers can do hottest topics in TS, which is the market, and they also can provide empirical studies on pedagogical design. They also can offer their assessment design and validation through some experimental procedures. So to combine what the teachers want to know and the researchers can provide, let's look at one very important cluster, which is translator training. Okay, so this, according to the software, this cluster is a very big one. Look at this number of cited members and citing articles. We can see it is a huge family. A large number of scholars work in this regard. And the Sanuet score, it means we have high confidence in interpreting the nature of this cluster. That means according to the algorithm, the software generates this cluster with high confidence. And the impact, that means this area of research, translator training, has enjoyed a high reputation and significance from 2002 to 2013, which is relatively a long period since we only did research on 20 years. Okay, but what are the highlights, or what are the researchers providing to the teachers? The first highlight from the researcher to the teachers is the impact of new technology, such as the collaboration of face-to-face and wiki revision. That means the translators can revise the work, not only face-to-face, but also through some online tools like wiki. And the second one is think aloud protocol. It is not only for research, it is also for translators training. Like we can ask the students to do some TAP in class. And House in 2013 also looked into the bilingual mind through this TAP process, which is quite useful for both researchers and teachers, and for assessment, which is a focal, or I should say highlight in this area. And the assessment, like Martinez and Manis in 2001 pointed out, their assessment is not only for trainees, it is also for professionals. That means a lifelong assessment to guarantee the quality of interpreting and translation. And of course, these are some highlights those researchers can provide to the teachers, and the teachers can implement or can focus on these areas in the pedagogical design and implementation. So to sum up, through this study, we can see the use of scientometrics, especially ACA, can help us draw a map of TAS, and we can understand how this area changed over in the last 20 years. And second, we also help researchers to find out the status quo and future development of TS through the cluster view I've provided to you. And of course, at the same time, not only for researchers, it also provides the industry, which means the translation and interpreting industry, a clear map for their business development, which I've referred it as market in my previous presentation. And finally, but definitely not least important, it is actually the most important. It facilitates the pedagogical and assessment design in translation and interpreting training. Okay, guys, thank you very much. That's basically what I want to share with you today. I will end the screen sharing and give the floor to another speaker.
Okay, thank you, Zhu, for a nice presentation and also some new software that you have already shared to us. And yeah.
Yeah, let me see.
Okay, so
am I
we
stopping the sharing or stopping sharing?
Not yet. Okay.
Stopping sharing. I need to give the floor to others. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Zhu. Yeah, we back again to Shahrul. Shahrul, are you here? Okay, let me check the participants. Okay, Shahrul is not here. What about Camelia? Camelia is here already. Camelia? No. Amelia Hanisa Putri? Is there any Amelia? Let me check. No Amelia here. Rahmat Budi Santoso. Rahmat also not here, so maybe we will have the last presenter from Ibu Eka Sofia Agustina.
Okay.
Okay, Ibu, because there are no more the presenter here, so this is your chance to present your paper. Yeah.
Okay, but my presentation with Indonesian language, is okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable Miss Nisa, moderator for this session. Okay, I will introduce my presentation for all. Saya langsung share screen ya.
Ya, Ibu,
okay.
Kita lihat.
BPG gini. Semua.
Sudah bisa, Miss Nisa?
Ya, Bu, sudah tampil.
Ya, terima kasih. Baik, di sini saya akan menyajikan satu topik hasil riset saya bersama Bu Farida dan Pak Rian Hidayatullah tentang the value of character education based on cultures, ecology in society of Kampung Tua Negara Batin and its implication in school learning. Jadi ini sebuah kajian tentang literasi berbasis ekologi budaya sebagai penguatan nilai-nilai karakter di sekolah. Jadi berbasis pada kajian budaya. Hal yang latar belakangi bahwa sesungguhnya pendidikan karakter, pendidikan karakter dipahami sebagai sebuah nilai yang dibangun secara personal untuk dapat direpresentasikan dalam kehidupan bermasyarakat. Dan tentu saja ini secara landasan kebijakan sudah dituliskan dalam Pancasila dan Undang-Undang Dasar 1945. Nah, ternyata nilai-nilai karakter ini sesungguhnya sudah tertanam pada kehidupan leluhur kita berabad-abad lampau. Jadi, tetapi nampaknya banyak hal yang belum kita gali atau itu hanya sebagai warisan dari mulut ke mulut dan tidak bisa kita kaji secara tertulis. Oleh karenanya, saya merasa penting bersama tim untuk mengkaji bagaimana kekuatan nilai-nilai karakter yang kemudian dilegalkan dalam bentuk formal dalam sistem pendidikan nasional saat ini itu bermuara pada kehidupan ekologi budaya pada wilayah tertentu. Nah, kebetulan saya bersama tim itu fokus beberapa tahun kajian risetnya di negara batin Waikanan, sehingga melihat kehidupan ekologi di sana, ekologi budayanya sangat kental, dan itu terjadi dengan sangat baik, sangat indah dari generasi ke generasi. Nah, itulah yang membuat kemudian kami menjadi gelisah dan semakin mengokohkan betapa pentingnya melihat internalisasi budaya yang kemudian dikaitkan dengan karakter hidup yang dimiliki oleh masyarakat negara batin di Kabupaten Waikanan. Nah, penelitian ini bertujuan untuk mengidentifikasi dan mendeskripsikan nilai pendidikan karakter yang berbasis ekologi budaya pada masyarakat Lampung di Kampung Tua Negara Batin, Kabupaten Waikanan, dan implikasinya dalam pembelajaran di sekolah. Nah, penelitian ini diharapkan dapat memberikan informasi berkaitan dengan satu, identifikasi kegiatan sosial berbasis pada ekologi budaya pada masyarakat Lampung di Kampung Tua Negara Batin Waikanan. Dua, nilai pendidikan karakter yang berbasis ekologi budaya pada masyarakat Lampung di Kampung Tua Negara Batin dan implikasinya dalam pembelajaran di sekolah. Nah, di sini diharapkan sesungguhnya bahwa pembelajaran karakter yang diberikan guru di sekolah di wilayah khusus Waikanan itu lebih membumi, lebih berpijak kepada hal-hal yang dekat dengan kehidupan nyata siswa yang semuanya berbasis pada kehidupan sosial budaya mereka, termasuk ekonomi. Nah, metode penelitian yang dipilih adalah metode penelitian kualitatif dengan metode etnopedagogi. Di sini saya merujuk pendapat Al-Wasilah tentang kajian etnopedagogi. Kemudian saya kokohkan dengan teknik dari kajian kebudayaan, ini menggunakan participant observation dan in-depth interview dari Endra Suara sebagai teknik pengumpulan datanya, yang di sini menggunakan model for dan model of untuk kajian pengumpulan data. Dan di sini ada teknik snowball, artinya saya terus menggali sebagai pengokoh kajian dari penelitian analisis budaya. Nah, hasil dari pembahasannya bahwa aktivitas sosial yang berbasis pada ekologi budaya di sana untuk masyarakat Kampung Tua Negara Batin itu ternyata ada 3. Yang pertama adalah tradisi membangun rumah, tradisi mata pencarian, dan tradisi budaya itu sendiri. Nah, secara ringkas bahwa nilai pendidikan karakter yang terdapat dalam aktivitas sosial tersebut berdasarkan ekologi budaya itu kami petakan menjadi 18. 1, kerja keras, 2, ulet, 3, gigih, 4, berdedikasi untuk keluarga, 5, pemberani, 6, teliti, 7, tekun, 8, cermat, 9, teliti, 10, peka, 11, mengisyaratkan kesetiaan, 12, cinta budaya, 13, rasa bangga pada budaya leluhur, 14, tanggung jawab, 15, rajin, 16, berdedikasi untuk keluarga, 17, melatih daya estetika, dan 18, menghargai jasa pendahulu. Yang ke-18 karakter ini masih tertanam sampai dengan sudah generasi ke-12 saat ini kehidupan mereka, karena di sana hampir 360 tahun kehidupan di kampung tua tersebut. Nah, ini kumpulan korpus data saya. Yang pertama, tradisi membangun rumah, karena di sana lebih mayoritas kaitannya dengan hutan dan sungai. Jadi ada sebuah tradisi di mana membangun sebuah rumah itu supaya kokoh dan kuat harus ditanam di air sungai dan seterusnya. Dan di sini salah satu tujuannya adalah bisa meninggalkan rumah itu untuk anak keturunannya. Dan itu tadi rumah ini usianya sudah hampir 360 tahun. Kemudian tradisi mata pencaharian, salah satu peninggalan nenek leluhurnya atau puyangnya adalah kehidupan sungai yang sebagai salah satu mata pencaharian yang sangat sentral. Artinya dari sungai itulah mereka berpenghidupan, dan ini masih ada sampai saat ini adalah kerajinan membuat perahu sebagai penunjang dari ekonomi tradisi mata pencaharian yang tidak ditinggalkan. Kemudian yang ketiga adalah tradisi budaya. Nah, di sini kami memetakan ada 4, yaitu tradisi adat betimbang, tradisi adat mandi pagi, tradisi adat bubetik, dan tradisi adat begawi. Untuk tradisi keempat, yaitu begawi, itu ada 2 jenis, yaitu begawi balak dan begawi biasa. Dan untuk tradisi adat yang kategori begawi balak adalah pesua cakak pepadun dan mancor jaman. Sedangkan untuk gawi biasa atau gawi kecil, gawi lunik, adalah gawi adat Balin Adok. Dan ini masih bertahan sampai dengan saat ini. Dan terakhir adalah bagaimana implikasi pendidikan karakter berbasis ekologi budaya ini dalam pembelajaran di sekolah. Jadi saya mengambil pijakannya adalah secara landasan kebijakan ini bertumbuh pada Perpres nomor 87 tahun 2017 tentang penguatan pendidikan karakter, yang kemudian saat ini kalau kita kaji dalam kurikulum 2013, revisi 2017 tetap mengukuhkan PPK sebagai satu poin penting yang wajib diajarkan di sekolah. Nah, nilai-nilai budaya ini nampaknya bisa mengokohkan hasil penguatan pendidikan karakter yang berbasis pada nilai-nilai nenek leluhur mereka. Hasil penelitian berupa pemetaan nilai pendidikan karakter berbasis ekologi budaya yang berasal dari tradisi membangun rumah, mata pencarian, dan tradisi budaya selaras dengan nilai pendidikan karakter dalam rumusan PPK yang secara umum merupakan nilai baik dari sisi kehidupan manusia. Pelaksanaan nilai pendidikan karakter di ranah sekolah, khusus di wilayah kampung tua negara batin, bisa diawali dengan tingkat diajarkan, dibiasakan, dilatihkan dengan konsisten, yang kemudian hal itu akan menjadi sebuah kebiasaan, lalu menjadi karakter diri, dan yang terakhir adalah menjadi budaya itu sendiri. Dan para peserta didik bisa menjadi lebih kokoh mengenal tentang nilai hidup penuh karakter yang berasal dari kehidupan keseharian orang tua atau leluhurnya di masyarakat kampung tua negara batin Waikan. Demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan, Bu Nisa. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for Ibu Eka for the nice presentation.
Thank you.
Sharing about the culture. And now, I think there is one more presenter just join this meeting, Ibu Camelia.
Yes.
Ibu Camelia, okay. So, yeah, Ibu Camelia, you just join this presentation. So maybe we can directly go to your presentation. It is, where is that? Oh yeah, the development of documentary film media in civics education subject. So for Ibu Camelia, time is yours.
Great. Thank you, moderator. I want to share screen.
Okay.
Can you see, Miss?
Yeah, it's already here.
Okay. For the one, I'm so sorry because I'm late.
Yeah,
I have something to do. Thank you for this chance. I want to present my research with the title "The Development of Documentary Film Media in Civic Education Subject." This research Oke, Miss. Bisa didengar ya, Miss? Oke.
Yeah, it's clear.
Can I say it? By me, Kurnisar, and Edwin Nurdiansa. Okay. This research, based on its analysis study conducted by the research team through the distribution of questionnaire given to students, information was obtained that as many as 95 2% of students took the example of case or problem were very necessary to make it easier to understand the concept in civic education material. As many as 91.6% of students state that by presenting the problem and civic education material, and then it will make it easier for them to understand the material, and as many as 95.2% of students state the citizens' education material will be easier to understand constantly by using a problem-based approach. Because that, we interest to development of film, documentary, to make a student to easier study the civic education subject. Literature review. One, the film media is very relevant to civic education course, especially because the basic of competency education certificate is institution that you want to achieve to be a scientific and professional who have a sense of nationality and love their home, land, and democratic and civilized become citizens, have competitiveness and discipline, actively participate in a building peaceful life based on Pancasila value system. And this research information and communication technology is used as a tool as a learning medium, namely film or audiovisual media. The film used in relation to national integration are designed to strengthen student interest and motivation in learning, improve their ability to solve problems, and instill character values, one of which is the love of the country. When they analyzing the film, the students are also trying to think at a higher level in solving problems. In this research, we're collecting data by documentation, observation, tests, and research results. Based on needs analysis carried out by the research team showed the distribution of questionnaire given to student information was obtained that on average 94% of students took that example of case or problem were very necessary to make it easier to understand the concept in civics education material. By presenting problem in the material make it easier for them to understand and materials will be more easily understood
Oh,
in concert manner using a problem-based approach. What are the process of developing learning media in the form of documentary film
Jadi
to
gitu
improve
ya.
ability to solve problem in civics education lecture? Researchers start by testing product validity with three validator, namely language validator, media validator, material validator, and in language validator result was 82% and material validation was 83% and the media validation obtained 91% result. Always the category is as a valid. Furthermore, after the product was declared fair or feasible to be tested, the researcher conduct a product trial with several tests, namely 1-to-1. To the results obtained 92% response with very good categories and 78 student activity level. Then small group states often 93% response results with very good categories as well as 76% student activity level, and then field evaluation response obtained 90% with a very good category, and 77 activity level with the level conclusion that media is practicable to use. The free test result obtained an average value 66, and the Foster obtained a very average value 79 with an increase 1,333 with an gain of 0.4 with a moderate category, which indicates that this media has a potential impact on improving students' ability to solve problems in civics lectures. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Camelia, for the informative presentation. Yeah, we go to the next, if there is still any. I'm going to check it first. Rahmat Budi Santoso, are you here already? I'm not sure. Yusuf Perdana? Syahrul Razi? No. Amelia Hani? No. Okay, so I think there is no more presentation. So we go to the next session. Maybe Camelia, can you stop your share screen first? Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to the question and answer session. So for you who has questions to the presenter, you can directly give the question. Okay. Anyone wants to give a question to the presenter? Okay, no one wants to give a question? All right. Before we end this, okay, I'm still waiting if there is a question. Okay, but if there is no more question or no question that asked to the presenter, I'm going to invite you first to have the photo session for all of you. So please, for all the presenter and also all the participants in this Zoom meeting, I would like to invite you to turn on your camera and we will have the photo session. Okay. Okay, okay, so we will have the picture. I'm going to count it 1, 2, 3, and then we will take the picture. Okay, give your big smile and 1, 2, 3. Sorry, wait. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait. There is one new coming. Ready? We'll have a picture. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Wait. Okay. Thank you very much for your participation. Okay, thank you very much for your participation. So, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of this seminar. Before I close the seminar, I would like to to say thank you very much for you for all of the presenters. Hopefully, the seminar will be beneficial for everyone here who has already attained. And that after this parallel session, don't forget to rejoin the initial Zoom link, such as the link that the opening before, because in the afternoon we still have the other keynote speakers, and then at 3:30 Western Indonesian time, there will be presentation from the third and the fourth keynote speakers, and also the link for filling out forms of the attendance list for certificates. Yeah, so it is highly hoped that you will be able to join again to the the initial Zoom link that we have shared to you. Okay, once again, untuk semua participants and also presenters, diharapkan untuk ikut lagi dalam link Zoom yang tadi sudah di-share untuk opening. Because karena nanti di siang hari kita ada presentasi dari keynote speaker yang ketiga dan keempat, dan juga nanti ada parallel session untuk sesi siang. Jadi kalau yang mau masuk ke parallel session juga you are invited to join. And then jam 3:30 juga nanti di saat keynote speaker yang ketiga dan keempat present akan dibagikan link untuk di attendance list untuk peserta, kehadiran peserta maupun presenter, dan juga untuk link sertifikat.
Jadi ya, Mem, ya?
Jam berapa untuk sertifikatnya, Miss?
Jam 3:30 nanti kembali.
Oh, 3:30 ya?
Ya, tapi diharapkan perkiraan di jadwal ketika keynote speaker yang ketiga dan keempat sedang presentasi, nanti akan di-share melalui chat untuk link Google Form.
Oke.
Jadi jam 1 ya yang keynote selanjutnya, Miss?
Keynote selanjutnya kita ada jam 1:15 nanti kita mulai lagi.
Terima kasih banyak, Mem.
Alright. So thank you very much again and see you in the next opportunities. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mem.
Bye. Bye.
Dadah.